all of you try to understand, whenever you design, whenever you create your design document, the design document should contain what are all the APIs that you will going to generate and how those APIs will be used by the front-end developer. So for example, front-end developer wants to register a new user. Can you guys tell me which API he should use in your backend so that he can register a new user? He will develop the front end. Okay. For example, he will create this particular page, registration page. Let's say I'll take any example. For example, you take Zoom itself. Zoom login. Here I want to register something. Okay. Sign up. Okay, something I'll choose. I don't know in this particular page, if you can observe, why he has given 1902. Nobody will live for 120 years. Anyways, okay, let's assume like this and let's continue. Okay. So for example, you would have seen some registration page. No? So here the registration, common registration has been changed. So you know what you mean by registration. So registration process is something which you have to give some detail about yourself. So then that will go to the backend and you will get a confirmation that your account got created. Then you will try to log in. So there should be an appropriate API to do all these things. Am I right, guys? How a front-end guy will be able to persist some data in your backend? He is supposed to use your API, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct. No? So like this, you need to identify which API the developer, the front-end developer is supposed to use. For registration, it is nothing but post customer. For login, you have created one login API. So similarly, let's say you want to see all the products available online. So you have created get all products. After seeing all the products, you should be able to click on a particular product and add the product to the cart. So add product to cart. So cart slash maybe you would have created one API called post cart. So what you created is if the front end developer has the entire cart JSON, then he will be able to post it to the backend. So either the front end developer should create that JSON and he should keep it and he should use your API that is post cart. Am I clear? The JSON should be created by the front end developer and he is supposed to post it. Then that particular cart will get created. So I'm telling the things repeatedly here. So to whom this particular card belongs to, do you have the information? How do you process in your business logic, that is service layer, that which customer holds this particular card? Have you guys handled this, team leaders? Team leaders?
No, sir.
So you simply posted the card. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So what other information you need? Either you modify a little bit for this particular operation here. So whenever you are creating a new card, you please create a card, empty card, or a particular card for the particular customer. You have to associate it. So either get the card ID, the customer ID through the URL, that is a path variable, and get the card information from a path variable. Then you will be able to persist into the database. So how will you do? Let's say you will get the customer ID. Using the customer repository, you find the customer. Once you find the customer, then you have the object of the particular card. It is up to you how you want to implement. Okay, so let's say you will just create one API wherein the front-end developer wants to add a product to your cart. So how are you going to do it? So let's say I will get the product ID and the customer ID. Then you have to create the object of the cart automatically in your backend. If it does not already associated, then you have to associate that particular cart to the particular customer. The customer ID has been given. Let's say customer ID is 1, that is Srinath. So he wants to add on iPhone to his cart. So you have to get the which mobile I'm interested in and who am I. Who am I? You can get to know. So you imagine that I am the front-end developer and you guys are the back-end developers. What I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you my customer ID. Let's say 101 is my customer ID. And I want to add a mobile with the ID 501. So I have to send you either in a JSON format, in a DTO class, or in a path variable. I'm going to call that is post cart, that is add mobile to cart. So I'm going to send you one mobile and my customer ID. What you're supposed to do, you have to find that customer first. The customer should be there in your database. Use the customer repository and find the customer object. Then use the your product repository and find the product. Then you check whether the particular customer has got the cart assigned. If the cart has not assigned, you create the object of the cart. And then add this mobile, whichever you have found from your repository, you add it to that particular collection. We know that cart has got a collection of products. So you add it there. Then this particular cart object will be ready for you. That particular cart object has to be set using a set cart method for your customer. If it is null, then you have to create a new cart. If it is not null, then you can use the same cart, get the cart and add this product, what he wants to add it to the cart by doing you get the particular collection and then say add. This new mobile will get added to the cart of the customer. So then what you need to do, so like the way he has added the mobile to the cart, similarly, you have to remove a mobile from the cart. Are you guys getting it? So I'm going to give, for example, delete cart. So delete mapping of the cart. So you have to give me the customer ID and the product ID which you want to remove from the cart. Are you guys getting it? What I observed is you guys are giving the entire JSON of the cart and you're removing it from the front end. That is, if you post an appropriate, what do you say, the JSON, it is getting saved into the backend. That's what you guys have done. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, it's up to the design guys. So if you design like that, then the front end guy has to remove that from that particular JSON. Then you will going to save it to the backend. But if you decide that the cart information he will go to manipulate and he will going to give the final JSON of the particular customer cart JSON of the particular customer, then at least you need to take the particular customer ID to save this cart, to update this cart for that particular customer. Okay, it's up to you guys, how you want, you decide, because it's already working. You just associate this updated cart to that particular customer. Is this clear, guys? In the path variable, you take the customer ID, and in the body, you send the JSON of your cart. Let's say Srinath cart, you update this. For Srinath, you update this cart. So that particular cart JSON, you manipulate it in the Swagger. You want to add a new product, you add it and send it. Is this clear? Team leaders?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the part what I wanted to discuss. So similarly, guys, so I want all of you to identify any missing API is there. Okay, for example, I want all of you to do something like, all of you please create one activity diagram. So from the beginning, you have to identify whether your project is in place or not. So after 2 weeks, you will going to have a project presentation. So you guys have to put more efforts now, and you need to understand the whatever code you have written in your project. Okay, so whatever lines of code you have written, you should understand those lines of code because they can ask you from anywhere. Okay, right. So basically, I want you guys to write this activity diagram. What do you mean by an activity diagram? So for example, so it's about the front-end developer. So based on the activity, the events, so he will going to call some back-end APIs. So can you go on? I think I'm getting some background noise. Divsha, can you go on mute, please? Okay, so all of you please look at this diagram, guys. So for example, what is the first thing a customer will do? So the first thing a customer will do is client registration. Once he gets registered, okay, what is this? Okay. The client should be able to enter the login credentials and login. I will be able to validate him, whether he is a authentic user or not. So he will going to use a login method and he will going to say whether he is an invalid user or a valid user. Okay. So once it is done, all of you please observe. Imagine that this is your online wallet. Okay. So he will be able to check his account balance. So we have one API check balance. Do you remember, guys?
Yes, sir.
Correct, no? So you will be able to, the front-end developer will be able to use your check balance API. So similarly, suppose a user will going to click on the withdraw amount. So then you will going to call your API. So you will collect how much amount he wants to withdraw. And then you will going to call a API that will going to withdraw the amount for him from his account. So similarly, if he wants to deposit, he will be able to call this deposit money API that you have created in the backend. Suppose we know that withdrawal amount, if it is greater than the balance, we're going to give him that withdrawal not allowed. Otherwise, we're going to withdraw the whatever amount from his account. And also we're going to, he wants to show the updated balance. So you might call that particular, suppose a withdrawal API itself will going to give him the balance. So the front-end developer, after withdrawal, he can show him that withdraw successful and what is the latest balance here. And finally, that is the end of the activity. So like this, guys, I want you guys to write the activity diagram for your project. Each one of you, or maybe the team leaders, you guys decide what user will do after logging in. So is that API enough for the front-end developer to complete the particular activity? So for example, in your when after completing your project, so let's say there is a demo and they will ask you to create one category. So then you will go to the category controller and you will create one category. Then they will ask you add one product to that category. Then you will create one product and add it to that category and show it to them. Then they will say add one customer. You will go to the customer controller and add one customer there and show it to them. Then they will say update customer. You will do it and show it to them. Then they will say add one product to the cart. Then you have to demonstrate that how to add a product to the particular customer cart. Then they will say make one payment, place one order. Then you have to say what is the procedure to place an order. You have to make one payment and you have to associate that payment to that particular customer and place an order. Yeah, Anand, what's your question?
So we just have to show it on the Swagger, no?
Correct. No front end, no.
Okay, sir.
We assume that the user is doing it and we'll demonstrate which API is supposed to call and how it will get done. Are you guys getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So similarly, then after payment, he would like to see the order. So you get the order ID and you display them that this is the order which got generated. And that completes the life cycle of the user story. So similarly, what is the admin story? Admin will create a category. Admin will add a mobile to the category, and he will do the CRUD operation of the category. He will do the CRUD operation of the products. He will change the price. They will ask you to update the price of it, name of it. Never edit or modify the ID, guys. Correct, no? Suppose you think about modifying your Aadhaar ID itself. Aadhaar ID will always remain the same. Only your information can change. So like that, category ID will remain the same. Category name you change. Product ID will remain the same. Product information you change. Are you guys getting it? They will check all these things, whether you got the common sense or not, whether you understood the project or not. And also, guys, all of you, please go through some application which is there online related to your project. Are you guys getting it? So you try to identify what is there in the commercial product and what is not there in your product, and how can you improve your product. If you have not done also, you should know what are all the things you can improve. You can tell that evaluator that you just got 10 days. You want to implement these things in your project. Are you guys getting it? Team leaders?
Yes, sir.
So that means you are aware what is there in the industry and you are willing to experiment and implement it. Is that clear, guys? So now what I want from all of you, I want all of you to go to your breakout rooms and please write these activity diagram and come back. Then we will start with the microservices. Am I clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All of you read about these activity diagrams. You can just Google it there and you will get the activity diagram, guys. See, for example, this is one more activity diagram. If you could observe here.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, we have to create each activity diagram for individual modules. or the one
No.
diagram?
पूरा project एक ही होगा ना आपका.
हाँ सर.
एक ही activity diagram बनाओ ना.
ठीक है.
हाँ, discuss करो, सबको मालूम होना है. Because anyone can get the question ना.
Yes, sir.
ये देखो ship order है. We are not handling this, but you can get to know what is a activity diagram. ये देखो send invoice send कर रहा है. So बाद में payment receive कर रहा है. Payment हो गया तो बाद में ये ship कर रहा है. I think you guys are getting it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you please look at these diagram shapes also. And also, guys, so see, out of curiosity, when you are giving a demonstration, now suppose you have written this diagram, and they will ask you why you have written like this, what is the meaning of this, and all. So you guys have to do a little self study on this. because whenever you have written a class diagram, they will ask you why you have written that arrow mark. What is the meaning of that arrow mark? They cannot ask anything. They are just doubtful whether you have learned with your complete attention or not. Simple main things, if you can understand, that's more than enough. I think this one is nice, simple. So you guys, I'm sending you on the chat, guys. You please take it.
हेलो
Yeah.
सर, एडमिन और यूजर के तो अलग अलग बनाने पड़ेंगे ना एक्टिविटी डायग्राम?
Exactly. Badhiya. Perfect.
यस सर.
For every, no, Prashant, not for every entity, for your entire project, you guys will going to do one activity diagram. One activity diagram for the user, one activity diagram for the admin. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Yes sir.
Let me show you one more diagram. It will be more easier for you guys. So don't create a complex one. You create me a simple one. Top to bottom approach create करो बस. So शुरू में वो क्या करेगा? ये करेगा, login करेगा. दिखा रहा है ना? Is this diagram clear? Login करेगा.
Yes, sir.
Enter the password करेगा. बाद में करेगा login successful, उसको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है? So manager क्या करेगा? So manager ये करेगा. What are all the different things he will be able to perform? So he is having 3 different activities. So he can click, you can list the staff name list. Okay, you can add a staff. You can, what is this? Remove a particular staff. समझ में आ रहा है? So you can say add customer. So add product. Admin can do add product, update product, and delete product. Guys, are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, but he has given detailed flow of the application, but you can just write that you can delete a customer. Sorry, you can delete a product. You can delete a category like that. One second. Okay, like this, you guys can just give me place items, remove items, and place something like this. What are all the each activities you will be able to do from top to bottom? The flow should be like this, from top to bottom. Can I give this link also, guys? Yes, guys. Any questions, guys?